webinar. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mike Jones, and I am the Director of Education for the OATUG. And we'll be talking about the Ascend Conference. I'd like to get started quickly on our webinar for Ascend on how to improve your chances of being selected to speak at the Ascend Conference. I know we do this every year, and this is always one of my favorite ones to do. Click on over to a quick agenda, and then I'll introduce our speakers. We'll quickly talk about what is Ascend, what does it do, what tracks we have, what education we have, what happens at Ascend, kind of talk about the fun parties, some of the keynotes that we do. We'll talk about Caesar's Palace, which is where we're located this year. I know last year we were in Orlando. We'll talk about how do you apply to speak? And of course, anyone on this webinar is kind of interested in that. It is very easy, and we'll show you the steps to do that. Talk about some tips and tricks. We'll talk about the overview, what we're expected of your presentation, especially if you get selected. Catchy titles, abstracts, some ideas, of course, things to avoid when you submit. And we'll quickly talk about the selection process, how that works, how our members vote for sessions. And then we'll talk about the dates and deadlines for selecting papers if you want to speak at Ascend. Right. Quickly, again, my name is Mike Jones. I am the OATUG Director of Education. With us, we have Mohan Dutt. Mohan, do you want to give a quick shout out?
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mohan Dutt. I am an OATUG board member and also your Ascend 2024 Education Chair for OATUG.
Perfect. And then go ahead, Carrie.
Hey, I'm Carrie Hollett on the OHUG board and program chair for OHUG. So Mohan and I are partners in crime with content for Ascend.
And I'm Janice Deloy, Executive Director at OHUG, and I also have responsibility for our education program.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Let's go to the next one. Quickly, we're going to talk about what is Ascend, especially what is Ascend 2024. Ascend is a co-produced by the two user groups, OATUG and OHUG. It's been a great partnership with them. We love working with them, and I know Janice and I work a lot together. This is the fourth Ascend conference that we will be hosting together. OATUG primarily covers eBusiness Suite, technology, ERP Cloud, and EPM Hyperion. OHUG covers, Janice, you want to step in there?
Sure thing. OHUG covers HCM, of course. We cover Cloud HCM, Taleo, PeopleSoft, and eBusiness Suite, and any technologies that support those.
Yeah, perfect. All right. What is Ascend? Again, actually covered. I think I just covered all those. Should have been slipped out of there. What happens at Ascend? Essentially, Ascend is a users conference, and what that means is you're going to get unbiased knowledge from other Oracle users. You're going to hear stories. You're going to hear pain points. You're going to hear solutions at Ascend. Speakers are going to kind of talk about some of the innovative stuff they might be doing with Oracle products. They'll highlight their expertise with the products. We do have a lot of experts that are at Ascend. Another thing at Ascend, which is a little bit different, is especially this year with the call for papers, is they bring their industry perspective. I know we're asking all speakers that submit to kind of select what industry they're in, so that that can be listed. That will be listed on the app, so attendees will know what industry you're actually working in. We will have huge support from Oracle. So we'll have a lot of Oracle sessions and product updates. We're doing lots of stuff with Oracle this year. We're doing hands-on labs. We're doing workshops. There's talk about doing a cab there. So there's going to be a lot of Oracle stuff happening at Ascend. We do have on-prem sessions and as well as cloud sessions. So I know with if anyone attends Cloud World, you know that you're not going to see any on-prem sessions. You will see a lot of on-prem sessions here. I know with our user groups, we cover eBusiness Suite. OATUG covers eBusiness Suite a lot, and OHUG covers PeopleSoft. So you'll see those on-prem sessions there, and Taleo as well. Another cool thing that we do, and you generally don't see this at a lot of other conferences, is we do professional development tracks as well. So if you want to submit a session for professional development, I know Mohan there is kind of the pro at that. He loves doing his professional development sessions and how those kind of relate to Oracle. And then finally, we have networking opportunities, which is a lot of fun. We have a welcome reception, and we are planning a party in one of the clubs in Las Vegas. And that's always kind of a fun networking opportunity we have. Again, you can network a lot in the exhibitor showcase as well, where you can see a lot of exhibitors that support the Ascend conference and work with Oracle a lot. And I think I already talked a little bit about the parties there at the end. All right, Caesar's Palace. I'll go turn this over to Janice.
Okay, so I think many of you have probably been to Caesar's. It's a really big, fun property that has a lot to offer. Tons of restaurants and coffee places and little bakeries and stores and things. And it's got a whole shopping center attached to it. If you haven't been to the Caesar's shops, it's really fun, and it's the size of most shopping malls, but it's more fun than that, I think. The tower that most of our attendees will be staying in is recently remodeled. The rooms are beautiful. I think everyone will really enjoy staying there.
Perfect. Thank you, Janice. Yeah, their pool is spectacular also.
Oh, that's right. It is.
It kind of looks like something out of San Simeon. It's just fantastic. It's just like kind of a crazy Roman pool. So it is a very nice kind of upscale property. The rooms are fantastic. Okay, how do I apply to speak? This one, so quickly, simply go to the Ascend 24 website. There's a call for presentations tab. It's pretty simple on that. You're going to develop a title and abstract, 3 learning objectives, really quick and easy and simple. If you're accepted, the PowerPoint is not due until May 15th, so you don't have to do a huge, big, long presentation. You're just going to do a title, abstract, and submit learning objectives. That's all you really need to do to submit. However, it is important that you really focus on what you're presenting for that. If you are accepted to speak, customers or users will receive a huge discount registration price of $195. That's a savings. Currently, the early bird price is $1495, so it's a savings over $1,200. And then associates and partners will receive a discounted registration price of $495, so you'll save over around $1,000 if you get selected to speak. All right. Why should I submit for Ascend? Professional development. This one is a big one. You can share with your coworkers. If you are speaking at the conference and you do get selected, you can share with your coworkers. It is a great kind of feather in the cap to tell people you're speaking at a major Oracle conference. CPE credits. Again, for professional development, if you need some CPE credits, if you present for over 50 minutes, you will be eligible for 2 CPE credits for that session. And those are continuing professional education credits. Of course, we talked about the savings, networking. No better place to meet new people, especially in the Oracle area, than our networking. And if you're speaking, it just kind of really opens the door to networking, because people will kind of reach out to you via the app. You'll talk to people after your session. The networking doesn't get better if you're speaking. And then lastly, conferences are fun. This is a fun conference. Everyone that attends, learns a lot and then has fun with the conference. All right, tips and tricks for success.
Yeah, I'll jump in here, Mike.
Okay, thanks.
So the tips and tricks for success that we wanted to cover here are just like voting, right? Vote early and often, they say. So submit early and often. We love seeing your submissions. I know there's some questions in the chat as well. And when you go through, it's kind of an easy process. And if you have different things that you are not sure if people will be interested in or if we'll be saturated with those, feel free to put in multiple topics. We definitely embrace that. Any track you're interested in, professional development, etc., as well as the product tracks, go for it. You can certainly cover a breadth of things there. We'll consider them all and create a catchy title to grab attention. We'll even give some detailed tips about title later, but have some fun with that. Get people in, get them excited about it. Write a developed abstract. So we do want to get a sense of what it is that you're going to impart to the audience. So it is important that the audience be able to walk away learning something. And so we've got your learning objectives there for you to fill in, all 3 of those. Again, this is just to kind of standardize it and give us some information as we're looking across all the different submissions to decide what to select. And then if you're an associate or a partner, please give your customer top billing. People are excited to hear from a customer perspective. And so they like having the support from the associate partner, but customer as primary presenter is definitely the way to go. And then the presentation overview. So again, take that great idea. I know you all have many great ideas. Come up with some of those great ideas and then articulate it so that it comes across to us. So, we're going to see what you've written, a winning abstract, right? We're going to see that. And so we just want to make sure that all that excitement and knowledge that you have comes across as you're submitting it. Some examples: solutions, concepts, best practices, new technology, case studies, right? Those are things that always tend to resonate with our audience. We are about doing things, we're less about theory and more about the actual practice of it. So people are interested in hands-on. They're interested in what you've solved. They're interested in what went right and what went wrong, all that kind of thing. So new concepts, advanced methods on existing concepts, all of that is great stuff. We get a lot of questions about best practices. So people do want to learn from each other. New technology, always exciting. Case studies, again, it's something that says, I did this and I can tell you factually this is what happened, as opposed to just talking about the theory of this should work. We can actually see the value and describe that to people. So that leads me into the next focus should be on the value delivered, right? Takeaways for the audience. You want to come back. Someone who's attending the conference is going to come back and look like a hero, right? They come back and they have these great ideas and they can implement them. So they can come back and provide real value to their company, whether it's enhancements that add something functionally that's helpful to the business, whether it's saving money. There's all kinds of ways that you can think about that. So just think about what your audience is going to want to walk away with. Then make sure that you balance your content. Not too little, not too much. Again, we're going to be reviewing a lot of abstracts, so we want to understand what it is you're getting across, but we don't need to read War and Peace.
Thanks, Carrie. I'll take it from here. So as Mike mentioned, you have the presentation title, the abstract, and learning objectives. Easy 3 things to remember. And first, it starts off with the title. Now, we get hundreds of submissions, right? So one of the best ways to get the attention of reviewers is, a title which I wouldn't say you have to go overboard and make it a real traffic stopper, but sometimes, a good title makes someone pause and review your submission. And also remember that your presentation title is that 15 seconds which captures the attention of an attendee. So imagine your presentation has been selected and it's on the conference app. Now, the attendees are scrolling through and adding sessions to the agenda, and make the presentation title meaningful and understandable so that in the few seconds they get what it's about. Is it about a case study? Is it about a new feature? So make sure that, of course, there are some do's and don'ts, and some of these what we have listed here. It's better to avoid company names as well as any acronyms and abbreviations and jargons which most people may not know, because you're the expert there. Next slide, please. The second part from the title is the abstract, and there's a question there on the chat saying, hey, do we have a template? What I would say is look at some previous year's conferences and you will see the abstract learning objectives. The best thing is, for an abstract, focus on what you want to say, what's the theme. Again, this is also for the reviewers as well as for conference attendees. Reviewers look at what are you talking about, because hundreds of abstract they have go through. So look at what's the theme and storyline. If you're an attendee, the attendee will glance at the abstract and decide whether to add the session to their conference app, to their agenda. If you are talking about a case study or a solution to an issue or problem or a project that you encountered or new features, so mention that and then explain what the unique solution is. I would highly recommend don't go in for like what is mentioned in user manual or user guides, because those are all available. So highlight the uniqueness of your topic, what you're talking about. And as Mike mentioned, like the takeaways of the conference is, what have you learned? What's the benefit? Why are you attending the session? So what are the KPIs? What is the ROI? What are the benefits of the solution? So highlight that as possible. And again, if you have case study, or if you are an associate of your customers, customer reference, so make sure you mention them there. And best of all, if you have them as co-presenters, that's awesome. Next slide, please. And here are some of the submission ideas. And I would say, look at, again, previous years accepted papers, a conference paper database. You will get a fair idea. It covers from case studies, lessons learned, emerging trends, what have you, unique solution you have built, and even community session. And last but not the least, if you have any topics related to professional development, it's a very popular track. Please do submit your abstracts. Thank you.
All right. Perfect. Thank you, Mohan. Things to avoid. This should be pretty clear and easy. I think creating any title or abstract that's sales in nature, to say something like, especially if you're an associate, this drops kind of in your category, whereas it'd be like, let's use IBM first case. They say how IBM helped fix this problem. Don't ever use kind of salesy in that nature. That just make sure you're leaving your company name out of the title and abstract. You want it to be like a pure learning experience. So you really want the session to kind of resonate with everyone and be kind of a learning and not just promoting yourself. The best way of doing it is kind of, to do it subtly to promote yourself. Do not list presenters' names. I know last year we did have a lot of people that actually put themselves in their title or abstract. Do not do that this year. You will not get accepted. Make sure you spell checked your information. spelling and grammar errors. That was purposely misspelled there. But just make sure you do not have any of those. I see those every single year. Janice and I see those. Make sure you've got your session in the proper track or smart track. If you're unsure of what track or smart track it should be in, you can always email. There's an email address right there on the Call for Papers page, so you can go ahead and email us and we can help you with that. You want to avoid plagiarism. This comes up every year. I hear, hey, this person's talking about this, and it came from it's almost word for word for this presentation I did. Just make sure your session is unique, so you want to avoid any plagiarism at all. And then finally, if you are submitting an OETUG or OHUG SIG, special interest group session or community session, please don't say, this is the cost SIG and we're having a SIG meeting. We really want developed titles and abstracts for those sessions. So you need to really spell out, hey, the cost SIG is going to show you, how to save money or how to, how to kind of show off your financials better, something like that. All right. The next session, the next slide is for submitting for another person. If you are submitting for someone else, if you are an admin, you're submitting for somebody, please make sure when you submit that you're submitting emails for both people, yourself and the speaker you're submitting for. The reason why we ask this is that once sessions are accepted or declined or anything like that, when those sessions go out, generally, if the person submitting does not include their own email address, when those acceptances or declines go out, we do get a lot of people saying, I had no idea. Like it's sometimes tricky. And that way, if both persons' emails are listed in the presentation, it just makes it easier on our end and the communication is a lot smoother. If the session is accepted and we're locked and loaded and ready to go, and we've had communication with the submitter and the person they're submitting on, we'll remove the admin's email and remove their name, and we'll update it on our end from that side. Proposal selection process. OETUG and OHUG members will vote on sessions for proposals, so you can sign up to vote. So I recommend that every single speaker that's speaking does vote and votes on the track that they're interested in. We use historical data from the sessions that are submitted to ascertain how many sessions can be selected for a particular track. I know last year we had actually more, I know on our end, we had more ERP sessions than EBS sessions. We did end up having more EBS sessions than we did ERP sessions just because of the historical data.
There's a question, Mike,
Yep.
asking how people vote. You want to go through that process?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. From our end, if you go, actually, this could work for either end. If you go to our website, or we can send out something on that page, on the Call for Papers page about voting, you simply sign up to vote. So you sign up, you're just going to put your name, your email address, your company, and you'll list what tracks you want to vote on. Pretty simple and easy. And then once that happens, you'll be sent a list. You'll log into the system. You'll look at the title, abstract, objectives. It's a blind voting, so you will not see who the speaker is, who the company is. I know OETUG and OHUG is a little bit different on that, so the OHUG process might be a little bit different. But the initial voting for us it's a blind voting, so you're just seeing the title and abstract. That's a big reason also why we don't like having associate companies in the names or a person's name in the title or abstract. Voting helps, I know from my standpoint, voting helps me tremendously. It helps myself and Mohan tremendously. Because if we've got a session and we've got 20 to 30 people voting on a session, it has an aggregate number, and it's pretty easy to sort that out. So we sort out the kind of the top sessions. We also look at the tracks, the smart tracks, to make sure we're covering our bases with the EBS area, but it's a tremendous help when people vote. And I always
And
If
like
it-
if I may add, Mike, what we have seen a trend is those sessions which have the highest aggregate votes actually turn out to be the most popular sessions at the conference.
That's right. And one thing I would also add on voting, if you're, there are some shared tracks across both OATUG and OHUG, such as technology and professional development. And there's a couple of others, analytics, I think. When you're voting, if you happen to be a finance person and you're looking at an HCM session in that track, don't give it a low score just because it's a subject you're not interested in. Either skip it or score it accordingly for the topic that it's in.
Yeah, with voting, we do send out instructions that kind of talks about that. If you don't know the topic or area or anything like that, I know with EBS, we break it into, we have technical sessions and we have functional sessions. I know we break that out. So if you don't know the area, just simply don't vote in it. Also, if you're voting and you see your own paper, score it really high. A little bit of
And
a
as Mike mentioned, that's why it's very important to put the right classification for the right track for your submission, because there are so many hundreds of submissions and we may miss out correcting the classification. And as Janice mentioned, sometimes the voters say, okay, this is not classified correctly. And instead of skipping the vote, the voting can be skewed in different ways. So we want to avoid that.
Perfect. Thank you, Mohan.
We also have a question there. Where is the link to register to vote?
It was emailed out in an OETUG email. We'll put it on the Ascend website.
Right. And OHUG has not emailed ours out yet. So if you're an OHUG member and you'd like to vote, stand by, but it'll be helpful to have it on the website as well.
Yeah, I'll send a voting email to everyone that registered for this webinar. All right. Yep. Dates and deadlines. Call for presentation closes January 26th. So that's the one reason why we did this webinar kind of early in January. So it does give you a couple weeks to work on it. Again, having a solid title and abstract and learning objectives is key. The week of March 4th, speakers will be notified. We'll send out an email saying, hey, you've been accepted or you've been declined. Every year we run into this problem. We do have a lot of space and we do get a lot of submissions. I know last year, I believe kind of from a ballpark number, we had about 700 submissions and we could only accept about 150 of those. So that kind of shows you your odds of getting selected. I don't want to kind of warn people against submitting. We do love as many submissions as you can turn in, as you can do more than one if you want to. May 15th presentations are due and they need to be uploaded to the conference app. Once that takes place, we review the PowerPoints to make sure they're not salesy in nature, and we want them to be on the right template and look kind of good. So you may get some feedback after you've submitted the session, but that's kind of why we ask for it so far in advance. That way you'll have maybe a week or two to make any updates to your session. You can upload PowerPoints. Once you've uploaded it, you can upload multiple PowerPoints all the way up to the conference. Our conference app is really great, so it makes it really easy for speakers to upload multiple presentations. Additional information, Chat GPT, great tool. So I know you guys have, if you have a title or something like that, always helps to kind of drop that in there, see what it spits out. Never spit out the same thing. I don't want everyone to turn in Chat GPT submissions, but it is a great tool to help you and maybe think of something you might not have thought about when you're initially building it. Build your case to attend the Ascend conference. This is a great tool that's on our conference website. If you go to that, it's on the Ascend website. You can actually, we have letters there that you can send to your manager saying, this is why I need to attend. This is why I need to, you can also kind of change it to why I need to speak at this conference. It provides plenty of tools to get approval to go to the conference and to travel to Las Vegas, because everyone in the call for papers, we are not doing any virtual speakers. Everyone has to be in person. The OETUG or OHUG knowledge base, go to those websites. You can look at past sessions, especially I'd recommend a past session in your topic area. Doesn't hurt to kind of take a peek at those sessions to see what other people did. See how they're kind of look at their title and their abstract. See kind of how they filled that out and how it sounds. And then finally, the Mohan and Carrie podcast series. I have a link on there as well. That's on the Ascend website and OETUG website. They do a great job. I know I helped with one of the podcasts. It was a lot of fun. They have a great series. Mohan, Carrie, you want to?
Yes, I want to plug in a shameless plug for our podcast. So our podcast name is Ascend with Carrie and Mohan, and all we talk about is call for papers, how you get selected, how you create submissions. So we spend about 15-20 minutes on each of the podcasts talking about each of the topics. And we have special guests. On one of our previous ones, we had Mike as special guest, and we have others coming in with featured speakers who have been successful with the submissions. So please do listen to the podcast. We spend a lot of time talking about our call for papers and how to make sure that you submit a winning submission.
Perfect. All right. Finally, we're here to the Q&A. I will look and see if there's any questions in the chat that I was not able to cover. Is there anything there, Janice, that I might?
I think we covered all of them.
Yeah, I think we hit them all.
There is one that just hit the Q&A. Can we get these PowerPoint slides after the webinar?
Yep.
Yes, you can.
The PowerPoint slides and the recording will be on the Call for Papers page at the Ascend site. Anything else?
And we have one more webinar coming up, Mike, on call for papers and how to get selected. I believe that's next week or next to next week.
Yes, we do. We have another webinar that's being run by an emerging leader from the OETUG. And that I just looked at his slides. They're actually pretty good. They're different than the ones I did. So he's got some great samples in there. So I recommend if you again want to check out another webinar on how to submit a great session, it was there. I did see a really good one just drop into the question area. Someone was talking about TurboTalks. TurboTalks are simple. I do need to get this over to the Ascend site at some point, kind of defined everything, what hands-on labs are, what workshops are, and TurboTalks are essentially a session that's 30 minutes instead of an hour. And we run those in the exhibit hall. So they're more of, they're very intimate, they're very small. You've got kind of a big TV screen where you present, and you're talking to a small audience. You can walk around them, you can chat with them individually. So that's what a TurboTalk is. So if you do have a good one that you think would fit for that, go ahead and submit and put it in there. I do believe TurboTalks is one of the session types that you can submit for the call for papers.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because we have a couple different formats that you can do. Different people learn differently, and different concepts lend themselves to different methods. So, if it's something that would be punchy as a TurboTalk, and you think that it isn't something that you need to spend an hour on, but you can kind of have that more intimate interaction, go for a TurboTalk. You can do panel discussions as well as our traditional sessions where you're up there speaking, which there's another question that came in also about a recommended amount of time to allow for content versus questions. And I don't think there's really a one size fits all here. I do think it's important to allow time for questions, but depending on what the concept is that you're covering, I think you're going to find that some lend themselves to questions more than others. That's kind of a wishy-washy answer there. But if it's something, as an example, that's maybe a newer technology and you think maybe the audience hasn't been exposed to it as much, I think you can anticipate that there are going to be a lot more questions, and it would be nice to leave a little bit more time there. If it's something that you think you have supplemental resources, et cetera, in the appendix, there might not be as many questions. You don't need to leave as much time. I would certainly not leave more than 15 minutes. Probably even 10 minutes might be sufficient for a lot of discussion at the end there. Also, put your information on the last slide, which there will be guidelines for that so that folks can follow up as needed. And we allow a little bit of time in between sessions so that you can chat a bit afterwards, although then we'll move you along for the next one.
Yeah, perfect, Carrie. That is a great point. We do, first, the CPE requirement, I always tell speakers to at least present for 50 minutes and allow 10 minutes of Q&A. There's 15 minutes in between sessions, so you can go over a smidge, but if you're over more than 5 minutes, so that'd be 65 minutes, then we got to put an end to it and get another session in there. If you're in a back-to-back session, some sessions bleed into lunch, some sessions bleed into the last session of the day. So those will be the kind of the exceptions where you actually can. We did have a couple sessions go 75 minutes last year because they fell at the last session of the day and there was a lot of Q&A. All right. I'm not seeing any other questions. If you do have anything, again, you can go to the Call for Papers website, ask us questions there. We'll post these slides and a recording of this webinar on the OATUG site. I'm sorry, on the Ascend site, excuse me, the Call for Papers. It'll be listed there so you can watch it again if you want to be entertained one more time. I want to thank all the presenters. Janice, Carrie, Mohan, fantastic job. You guys always do a great job. I will say the Mohan and Carrie sessions at Ascend are always some of the best ones to attend. I have a feeling I get a feeling Mohan will definitely be accepted, and if Carrie submits, she'll definitely get accepted as well.
They might even do one together. Wouldn't that be a treat?
Oh man,
that would be great. We'll
talk. A huge bonus for us. Yeah, they could have they could do the maybe podcast right from Ascend.
Ooh, live.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys, and this will conclude the webinar. Everyone have a great day. Submit as much as you can.